This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. The next time I saw my ex-wife, she had become my colleague, alongside the man who once came between us. Back then, she had gone to great lengths to divorce me for that man, but it hadn't even been half a year, and she was already full of regret, crying and begging me to take her back. I never expected to see Hailey and Tony again, especially not at work. My colleagues said they had just joined the neighboring department. That girl is so pretty. I wonder if she has a boyfriend. She looks so young. Probably not. A few women in the department gathered to gossip. She does have a boyfriend, and she's been divorced. I closed my laptop, got ready to clock out, and casually said it while walking past them. How do you know that? They looked at me in surprise. I thought to myself, of course I know, because I'm her unlucky ex-husband, the one she cheated on. But I only said, just a guess. Then I left work, cool and calm. Hailey and I used to be the kind of couple everyone envied. We met during a university mixer. I liked her from the first moment I saw her, but she was the campus goddess, from a good family, and incredibly capable. She had countless admirers, like fish crossing a river. I felt inferior, and was socially anxious, so I only dared to admire her from afar, until one day, she accidentally fell into the lake, and no one around dared to jump in. She was about to sink, and I don't know where I found the courage. Even though I couldn't swim, I clenched my teeth and jumped in to save her. Hailey was very grateful, and we gradually got to know each other. As she got closer, the little hope in my heart began to grow. On her birthday, there were fireworks near the school. I asked her out, and under the dazzling sky, I confessed my love. Hailey looked at me with a blank face. The fireworks were too loud just now. I didn't hear what you said. Can you say it again? My hard-earned courage melted away, and I got scared. It's nothing, just something unimportant. Doesn't matter if you didn't hear it. She suddenly laughed. Dummy, of course I heard you. I just wanted you to say you like me again. I like you too. Then under the fireworks, she gave me a kiss, and that's how we got together. My story of saving a beauty and winning her heart became a campus legend. Hailey was perfect in every way. Even though we were at different universities, she would come to see me whenever she had time. I loved her deeply, and after getting to know the cafeteria chef, I often used the school kitchen to make her lunch boxes. Time flew by, and before we knew it, we graduated. I received an offer from a top tech firm, a job I had worked toward for 4 years. It was a great opportunity. If I used it as a stepping stone, I could earn $1,000,000 a year in 3 years. But Hailey hoped I would return to her hometown with her. Big companies aren't necessarily better. There are more jobs where I'm from, and housing is cheaper. My parents want to get to know you better too, so they'll feel comfortable handing me over to you. Which is more important, your job or me? She said it playfully, with hope shining in her eyes. I couldn't say no. When my friends heard I turned down the job, they all laughed, saying I gave up a kingdom for love. Many of them advised me to check things out first, but Hailey was in a hurry. She bought tickets back home the day after graduation. She swore to me that my profession would thrive in her city. So caught up in love, I followed her home, without doing any research. When I arrived, I realized things weren't what she said at all. My major wasn't valued here, and the pay was terribly low. I couldn't accept the gap, and I planned to leave. But Hailey said, if I dared to buy a ticket, she would break up with me. Her eyes turned red, her face full of disappointment and tears. You're so talented. How could you not find a good job here? Just settle down since you're already here. I did this for our relationship. Long-distance couples rarely last. I just don't want to be apart from you. Is that so wrong? I loved Hailey with all my heart. I couldn't stand to see her cry like that. I dropped my suitcase right then and there, held her tightly, and comforted her for a long time. Eventually, I found a high-paying job, though I had to work 996, and often had to work weekends. But I endured it all for Hailey. A year and a half passed, and I saved enough for a house down payment. I had a good personality, could do all the housework, was caring, and loved Hailey deeply. Her parents liked me a lot, and urged us to marry. With the money I made from trading stocks in school, and help from my parents, I gave Hailey a grand wedding. At first, everything was perfect. We lived happily and sweetly, but things changed after I got promoted. Work became more demanding, and I started coming home later and later. Hailey got off work earlier than me, and wasn't as busy. Gradually, she began to resent my late nights. One day, after dealing with my boss, I dragged my exhausted body home. The moment I stepped in, I saw Hailey sitting on the couch, looking unhappy. You haven't cooked for me in ages, and you come home later every day. People are starting to ask if I live here alone. She glared at me, clearly upset. All I wanted was to collapse in bed, but I forced myself to smile and coax her. I'm sorry, baby. It's my fault. I'll come home early tomorrow and make you a big meal, okay? That night, I managed to cheer her up, but I didn't realize that was the beginning of my nightmare. The company finally let us off work on time for once. I drove to Hailey's office early hoping to surprise her, but I didn't expect to see her coming out the door, chatting and laughing with a much younger guy. They looked close, just like a couple in love. A surge of anger rushed straight to my head, but I didn't lose my temper. Instead, I quickly walked up to Hailey. "Darling, what are you doing here?" She saw me from a distance, ran over excitedly, and threw herself into my arms. "I got off work early today, so I thought I'd take you to that restaurant you've always wanted to try." I held Hailey in my arms, but my eyes were fixed on the boy beside us, whose expression had soured the moment I appeared. "Sweetheart, aren't you going to introduce us? This is Tony, a new intern at our company." The manager asked me to mentor him. Hailey's introduction sounded completely natural, with no trace of guilt in her voice. I thought maybe I had overreacted, and slowly relaxed. Hailey may not have had feelings for Tony, but Tony clearly didn't feel the same way. Ever since that day, he became like a sticky piece of gum I couldn't shake off, constantly showing up in Hailey's words, a vibrating phone during our movie nights, early morning texts on weekends, and even snacks from his hometown showing up in our home. He clung to our daily life like a shadow. I couldn't take it anymore. I started dropping hints to Hailey, telling her Tony's behavior was crossing a line. Hailey looked at me with confusion. "Babe, aren't you being a little too sensitive? We're just normal coworkers. He's new to the workplace. It's natural for him to rely on me as his mentor." But Tony's behavior kept escalating. He started sending her takeout and flowers when I wasn't home. That kind of blatant provocation. How could I possibly endure it? I asked Hailey again and again to draw clear boundaries with Tony. No excessive contact outside of work. But Hailey grew more and more impatient. "You come home late every day. I haven't said a word. Can you stop being so paranoid?" That night we had a huge argument and parted on bad terms. From that day on, we fell into a cold war, not speaking a single word to each other. Our first wedding anniversary was just around the corner. Eventually, I decided to swallow my pride and make up with her. I took a day off from work, went home early, decorated the place, and cooked all her favorite dishes. But I waited, and she never came home. She didn't pick up my calls either. Worried, I drove to her office. At a red light, I stopped the car and looked around absent-mindedly. That's when I saw something that sent a chill through my entire body. Hailey, arm in arm with Tony, walking into a hotel. My mind buzzed. I didn't care about anything anymore. I jumped out of the car and rushed into the hotel. I shoved them apart and was about to punch Tony, but Hailey grabbed my arm tightly. She looked at me in shock and anger. "Let him go. You lunatic. He's sick." I was just helping him get to the hotel, and in a spot Hailey couldn't see, Tony looked smugly at me, mouthing the words, "You've lost." I ended up being scolded by traffic police for illegal parking. By the time I finished paying the fine, Hailey was gone. She texted me, saying she needed to cool off and would stay at her parents' place for a while. I returned home alone, expressionless, dumped the cold food into the trash, and tore down all the decorations I had carefully put up. Then Hailey asked for a divorce. She didn't even want to see me. She had her friend hand me the divorce papers. The moment I saw those papers, I felt like the sky was collapsing. "Why?" I stared blankly at Hailey's friend, completely clueless about what I'd done wrong. Her friend sighed deeply, with a trace of pity in her voice. "She feels like you care more about work than her, and you don't spend enough time with her. And also, your emotions aren't very stable." I worked hard to give her a better life. What husband could stay emotionally stable? After seeing his wife walk into a hotel with a man who's after her on their anniversary, I couldn't accept these reasons. I ran to her parents' house, begging to see her. But downstairs, I ran into someone I never expected. Tony, carrying 2 big bags of snacks, looked at me with disdain. Well, if it isn't the ex-husband. You came to see Hailey too." It took everything I had not to smash his grinning face with my fist. I looked at him coldly. "Watch your mouth. We're not divorced yet. Hailey is still my wife." Tony sneered. "It's only a matter of time. Her heart's not with you anymore. If you had any decency, you'd sign the divorce papers and let her chase her happiness. Clinging like this doesn't make you a man." My rage burned inside me, but I knew that if I started a fight now, things with Hailey would truly be over. So I threw him a final glare. "The one clinging like trash is you." Then I walked past him, heading upstairs without looking back. Hailey didn't want to see me at first, but after her parents insisted strongly, she finally opened the door. "Just say what you need to say quickly. I don't want to see you." She didn't even look me in the eye when she spoke, her gaze fixed on her phone the entire time. Seeing her attitude made me even more anxious. "Wife, I don't understand how we suddenly got to this point. We were fine before." "Fine where?" Hailey cut me off coldly. "Do you know what kind of life I've had since we got married? You're always working, not even a shadow of you at home." At the last company gathering after it ended, everyone else was picked up by their husbands. husbands, but I was the only one walking back alone. Do you know how that felt? But I work overtime to give you a better life. If I left this city, I could find a job with a good salary and regular hours, though I felt I hadn't done anything wrong. To win back my wife's heart, I apologized over and over again. Her parents scolded me at first, saying that last time I acted like I didn't trust their daughter. Then they urged Hailey to cut off unnecessary contact with Tony and live properly with me. I smiled and apologized for over half an hour, until Hailey's expression softened, and she agreed to come home with me. I quickly switched to a job that didn't pay much, but had regular hours. After that, I picked Hailey up from work on time every day, and cooked a carefully prepared dinner for her. Hailey was happy to have me by her side every day, and her attitude toward me returned to the sweetness it used to be. Everyone at her company soon knew me, and praised me as a good husband. Because of the gossip, Tony no longer dared to openly have any ambiguous contact with Hailey. Life went on quietly like this for a while. Just as I thought our marriage was back on track, I accidentally saw a chat Hailey sent to her best friend. "I'm so jealous of your husband. He has a successful career. My husband is no good. He just clings to me every day. I wish he could be more ambitious. His salary is so small. It's hard for me to even buy a bag. There's a gathering next week. I'm bringing a guy along. He's Tony, the one with the sweet talk from before. When that happens, help me cover for it in front of my husband. I'm going to spend the night out." Reading that chat, my heart completely froze. Hailey was not only still in contact with Tony, but also wanted to hide it from me. I worked so hard, and she complained when I worked overtime and didn't stay with her. Then when I stayed with her, she said I wasn't ambitious and was too clingy. I gave her everything, even gave up my dream job. And how did she repay me? All the years I worked so hard to maintain our relationship, my efforts now seemed like a joke. I was just a clown who thought he had found perfect love. At that moment, Hailey came in looking for her phone and ran right into me holding it. She clearly knew I had seen the chat logs, but instead of panic, she became angry and yelled at me with full confidence. "Rocky, how dare you spy on my chats? You don't trust me at all. I have no privacy left. What's the point of this life anymore? Let's just get a divorce." Her attitude shattered the last bit of hope I had for her. All the beautiful memories, the kisses under fireworks, and the vows we made, they all quickly turned to dust. She seemed to think that as long as she got angry, I would rush to comfort her and explain, but my love for her had already been worn down piece by piece. I closed my eyes tiredly, only wanting to end everything quickly. "Fine, let's get a divorce." My voice was soft, but firm and decisive. Hailey was stunned, seeming unable to believe what she heard. "What did you say?" Her voice trembled, her eyes wide with shock, showing she never imagined I would agree to divorce. "I said we should get a divorce." I looked at her calmly, with no emotion left in my eyes. "You really want to divorce me over such trivial things? Fine, don't regret it. There are so many people chasing me. Even if you begged me on your knees in the future, I would never get back with you." Her eyes reddened. She pointed at me and shouted. She looked so wronged, as if I was the unfaithful one. The divorce papers she used were the ones she had her friend delivered to me last time. Her name was already on it, and as soon as I signed the agreement would take effect. Under Hailey's disbelieving gaze, I wrote, "Rocky." After I signed, she turned around in anger and left, planning to go get the divorce certificate with me the next day. The process of getting the divorce certificate was surprisingly smooth. When we came out of the hall, Tony was already waiting outside. He walked up politely, taking Hailey's bag and putting his arm around her waist. "Congratulations to Sister Hailey for escaping misery." He smiled at me, his gaze like he was looking at a defeated dog, full of disdain and contempt. He wanted to provoke me, but my expression didn't change at all, still cold and distant, watching them like strangers unrelated to me. Hailey was clearly unhappy with my reaction, so she pulled Tony close and gave me a French kiss right in front of me. She wanted to see me lose my temper, but I didn't even glance at them. Got into my car and drove away. After divorcing Hailey, the only thing left for me to handle was the apartment where I lived. It was the only shared property we needed to divide. I didn't want the rest, so I left everything else to Hailey. The apartment was hard to sell, so I entrusted a local agent to handle it, and the money would be split evenly between Hailey and me. I didn't like the city where I had worked for 2.5 years. In fact, I hated it. The only reason I stayed was because of Hailey, not dragging my luggage. I left it without any attachment. When I came, I was full of hope, laughing and joking with Hailey all the way. On the way back, I sat alone in the noisy train carriage, looking out the window, feeling like I was waking from a long dream. as if I had stepped into another world. I returned to the city where I had studied for 4 years, wanting to reclaim my dreams. Those who came to welcome me back were all my college roommates, who stayed here back then. One by one, they were full of ambition, having already found their own place in this city. If I had chosen to stay back then, I would probably have been successful in my career by now too. Looking at them, I was filled with deep emotions. At the dinner table, I told them about my divorce from Hailey. They listened in outrage, each one standing up for me and condemning the unfairness. My best buddy from college slammed the table angrily. "Isn't this man? How can you just let them off like that? That pair of scoundrels. They definitely need to be taught a lesson." I raised an eyebrow, showing a smile full of hidden meaning. Impossible. I have always been someone who never lets go of grudges. They should already be in big trouble by now. Earlier, when I went to pick up Hailey, I met quite a few of her colleagues. Before I left, I made sure to spread word in Hailey's social circle and company about the so-called pure and innocent colleague relationship she had with Tony. As for Tony, I had someone investigate him and found out that this bastard had a bad record since school days. He bullied his dorm mates, cheated on exams multiple times, and faked poverty to get school financial aid. To get the internship at Hailey's company, his resume was completely fabricated. I reported him to the company's HR. He's definitely going to be fired and may never find a good job in this city again. I didn't rush to find work. Instead, I took walks every day to clear my mind. This city, compared to before, hadn't changed much. Sometimes I would visit places where Hailey and I often used to go when we were students, but I didn't feel sad or upset, only a bittersweet sense of letting go. After resting for half a month, I gathered my strength and started sending out resumes. But jobs weren't that easy to find. After enduring so many years of 996 and low pay, I was no longer willing to settle. After almost a month of struggle, I finally found a company I was happy with, though small in scale. The pay was good and employee benefits were solid. The boss wasn't an idiot, didn't manipulate employees, and coworkers got along well. I had been working there for several days, and I was satisfied in every aspect, until that day before leaving work. I saw Tony and Hailey in the next department, overhearing female colleagues talking about her. I called some old acquaintances and learned Hailey and Tony were both fired from their previous company. After I left, their relationship was fully exposed in the company. The gossip about Hailey's affair during her marriage became the talk of the entire office. But the worst part wasn't that. Once Tony's fake resume was revealed, some of his past mistakes came to light too. The losses he caused were enough to fire him 2 or 3 times over, all covered up by Hailey. Now that the truth was out, both of them were naturally kicked out. Not only that, Hailey had to compensate the company a large sum of money, and because of this incident, other companies wouldn't dare to hire them either. Their reputations were ruined, and jobs were impossible to find. So this was why they were in this city, and even became my colleagues. The burden in my heart was finally lifted. To me, they were now completely irrelevant. I didn't want any more contact with them, nor did I want them to affect my work. But if I didn't look for them, Hailey took the initiative to find me. One lunch break, I was eating the homemade bento I brought. When I heated it up, several female colleagues said it looked nice, asking where I bought it. When I told them I made it myself, they all exclaimed in surprise, "No way, Rocky. You're great at work, and you can cook too." The last time we cleaned the office, Rocky was quick and thorough. You could tell he cleans a lot at home. Could cook neat and hardworking. I wonder which lucky girl will get him. Good men like Rocky are rare nowadays. "Hey bro, I have a cousin who's really nice, you guys should meet." The female colleagues started teasing, trying to set me up, but I noticed someone had been staring at me all along. I turned to see. It was Hailey. She didn't know how long she had been standing there. Her face was extremely ugly. That day after work, she blocked me at the company entrance. In a CAF by the roadside, I silently stared at the woman before me, not knowing why she suddenly appeared and dragged me here. Hailey couldn't stand my gaze anymore, and finally spoke. "Rocky, it's been half a year, aren't you still angry enough?" I've reflected. My behavior back then was wrong. It caused you misunderstandings. But Tony and I really weren't that kind of relationship. Even that kiss was just to provoke you and push you to divorce me. She wanted to say more, but I interrupted her with my voice. I looked at her, at the woman who once broke my heart, and politely said, "Ms. Hailey, we have no relationship anymore. I'm not interested in your affairs." Hailey stared wide-eyed in disbelief, then became furious. Her cheeks were thin, her face haggard. It was obvious she had suffered a lot these past 6 months, yet her spirit remained strong. "What do you mean, Rocky? Divorcing you was just an impulse. I never really wanted to separate from you. But with your attitude now, what does all these years of feelings between us even mean? Good memory you have." I smiled sarcastically, my voice cold as ice, chilling to the bone. I told her, "Believe believing you and Tony are innocent is like believing I'm the god. Whatever happened between you and Tony, I don't care. Just don't come looking for me. We're already divorced, and your little boyfriend is here. I wish you both eternal happiness. Just don't ruin anyone else's life." With that final remark, I stood up and walked out of the restaurant. Tony brushed past me at the door, shooting me a vicious glare. He stormed over to the table and immediately started yelling at Hailey. "What the hell are you doing? Sneaking off to meet him again? Are you trying to cheat on me now?" Hailey completely lost her composure, screaming back at him. "I told you this morning I wanted to break up. You have no right to accuse me. Stop clinging to me, you lying scumbag." Rocky, I was wrong. Please come back." Their shouting was unbearable. I frowned and quickened my pace, leaving that mess behind me. Lately, I've been doing quite well. One of my colleagues introduced her cousin to me, a beautiful and gentle journalist. We went on a few dates. She said everyone meets toxic people when they're young, and didn't mind that I'd been married before. We shared the same interests, had similar views on life, and being with her felt effortless and comforting. Naturally, we became a couple. Good things kept coming. Several big companies' HR departments reached out to me. Even the company I once rejected for Hailey was among them. This wave of unexpected fortune left me stunned. I decided to resign from my current job at the end of the month and join the new company. Life was smooth. Everything felt calm and wonderful. But Hailey showed up again, this time crying in front of my car. "Rocky, I really can't live without you. Let's get back together." She was sobbing so hard. Her words were barely coherent. Her appearance was pitiful, bruises on her face, clothes covered in dust. My girlfriend urged me to get out of the car and see what was happening. Looking at Hailey, my eyes were filled with pity. I thought, this time, I must put an end to everything, so she would never bother me again. The moment I stepped out, Hailey lunged forward, clutching my shirt, crying her heart out. "That bastard Tony, he stole my money, and he hit me. I regret everything. Why did I ever leave you?" Her eyes were full of tears. In the past, I would have felt deep heartache, but now, seeing my girlfriend smiling in the car, I immediately pushed Hailey away. "Then you should call the police. What do you want from me? I have a girlfriend now. Don't touch me. Let go." As I was pulling her off, Tony suddenly appeared, charging straight at me. His face was twisted with rage, completely unrecognizable. "You slut. I knew you'd never change." Hailey turned pale at the sight of him. Terrified, she hid behind me. Tony lost control, screaming, swinging his fist at us. "If your family wasn't rich, who would have gone near you? Only this idiot treated you like a treasure. Because of you, I lost my diploma, and now you want to run? No way. And you, Rocky. So what if you're good looking and smart? I still stole your wife." His attack looked fierce, but to someone trained like me, it was full of openings. Just as his fist neared my face, I swiftly dodged, grabbed his arm, and dislocated it. Then I planted my left foot and kicked him hard in the stomach, sending him flying. Tony's screams echoed through the parking garage, sounding like a dying pig. The pain crippled him. He lay on the ground writhing, clutching his arm. He looked like a disgusting bug. The police arrived quickly. Turns out my girlfriend had called them the moment Tony appeared, with surveillance footage as evidence. The officers soon understood the situation and brought us to the station to make statements. When we finally came out, my girlfriend had been waiting in the lobby. Her eyes sparkled as she looked at me, saying that kick I gave Tony was incredibly cool. Her compliment made me a little shy. I held her hand, offering to take her to dinner and unwind. Behind us, Hailey had just finished her statement and walked out. She stared blankly at our backs, gazing at our clasped hands, then suddenly collapsed to her knees, wailing in emotional ruin, because she finally realized she had truly lost me. The love she once discarded like trash was never coming back. Tony's assault made the news around our office, thanks to my girlfriend's cousin, who was also my former colleague. He got fired again. His past wrongdoings came to light, and he was blacklisted by every HR in the city. Now, his only future was working in a factory. As for Hailey, she resigned the next day and disappeared without a trace. Her whereabouts no longer concerned me. I devoted myself entirely to my new job, finally joining the company I had dreamed about for years. Just as I had imagined so many times in the past, through hard work, I found success. 3 years later, on a sunny and breezy afternoon, I walked into marriage with the woman who had stood by me, believed in me, and supported me. This time, I made the right choice. The end. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.